Nope. Ah, there. There it is. Yeah, thanks. Damn it! No, I don't. No. No. Okay. Everything should be fine. Okay, chapter 3 has started. The next night, I was still working as Maya prepared for bed. Are you not going to sleep? No, I think I'll need to finish this paper. I want to get it all done tonight. She made a face. For a second, my heart stopped. Did she know what I was planning? I still don't get why we need to know the anatomical proportions of Goombas. Yeah, me neither. Thank goodness.
Good night.
Well, don't stay up too late. I won't. She crawled into her bunk and under the covers. In no time, she was fast asleep. I waited a few minutes to ensure she wouldn't wake up, tapping my pencil idly against my desk. I hadn't told her what I was going to do. I hadn't told anyone, but going out after curfew wasn't really that big of a deal. Okay, that was a bold lie. If I got caught, I would be in serious trouble, but that didn't matter. Satch was spending every day in the library in the Normal Boots Club, trying to clear our names. There wasn't much I could do to help him there, but surely no one would mind if I did a bit of snooping on my own. When I was finally sure Mai was asleep, I slipped out of our room. Luckily, I didn't run into anyone on my way out of the dormitory. No one was supposed to be out past 9, so it wasn't a big surprise, but no one was roaming the hallways either. I stepped into the cold night air and took a deep breath. A slight wind blew through the campus, raising goosebumps against my skin. Shivering, I headed towards Poppy Hall. There was no way I'd be led into the clubroom during the day, but at night, my footsteps echoed across the walkways. There was a single soul around me, and hardly any light. Since people weren't supposed to be out after dark, the lampposts were few and far in between. If I were attacked, no one would notice. Shaking my head, I sped up. In no time, I made it to Poppy Hall. I crept into the hallway. A still silence encompassed the entire building. Suddenly, I was seized with a fear I never expected during the day. It was so quiet, so still, and so empty. Wow, I stumbled there. Now I understood why people thought abandoned schools were haunted. They were creepy as hell. I kept around the corner, past the science lab, and to the back of the building. The Normal Boots Club room should be right here. Crap, no! It was locked. Stupid! Of course it would be locked. There's stuff in there people could steal. Of course a teacher would lock it. Now what? Must I go back empty-handed? Stupid Hana! I should have prepared for this. I heard a noise in the distance, and my heart stopped. Footsteps. Someone was coming. Panicking, I searched around for a place to hide, but I was in the middle of a hallway with nothing but lockers and windows. I was trapped. Cringing, I closed my eyes. The footsteps came closer. Closer. They stopped in front of me. No one said anything. Hesitantly, I opened my eyes. Mr. Saitama? He looked past me through the classroom door. Did you forget something? Yes, I left my math book inside. He nodded and pulled out a giant ring of keys. With a flick of the wrist, he motioned me aside. I shifted and he unlocked the door. He pulled the door open and gestured me inside. Hurry up, please. Deciding not to ask, I scurried inside. The club room was much the same as I remembered it. I wanted to take a peek around, but now that Mr. Saitama was here, I decided it was better not to. Still, there was one place I could look. I went to the back of the room where a large metal closet rested. Please don't be locked. It's unlocked. Pulled the door open and looked in. At the top were stacked a few boxes with miscellaneous items. Is that a skull and a crystal ball? Never mind. Below there where the boots once stood was an empty shelf. I sighed. I was about to leave empty-handed when I remembered I needed a math book. Turning back to the locker, I pulled a random book out of the closet. Their box of junk came in handy, and was about to close the door when I noticed something. There was a dent in the bottom of the closet, just where the boots once stood. of metal. Was that there before? I kneeled and ran my hand across the dent. Something heavy must have fallen into it to make it one this large. Something heavy and angled. Something hard to carry. The boots! I thought of it. The boots were made of solid gold. Of course they would be heavy. Heavy and wheelie and hard to carry. Whoever took them couldn't have taken them far. That was sure. And if they didn't have access to the clubroom in the day, they must have gotten in the way I just did. Or they must have stolen the key themselves. But they would have done it at night, and then there was no way they could carry the boots all that way without getting tired or caught. Which meant they were still in Poppy Hall. Miss, are you finished? Yes, sorry, I'm coming. Tucking the book under my arm, I closed the door and headed out of the classroom. Mr. Saitama chaperoned me all the way back to Primrose House in a stiff, insulated silence. I wanted to ask him why he was wandering the halls at night, and why he'd let me off, and why he always wore that brown suit. But looking closer at it, the suit was lightly rumpled, and there was a red ascot stuffed in one of the pockets. I looked closer at Mr. Saitama's face. He looked somewhat flushed. Had he been on a date? If you don't tell, I won't either. He gestured at the book in my hand. I looked down to see a Dungeons and Dragons manual. Oh no, Jared, no! What? I won't tell if you don't. He placed a finger to his lips. Then he turned on his heel, and headed back to Poppy Hall. Whose book was this? As I climbed the staircase back to my room, my curiosity and excitement began to fade. Thankfully, I was able to sneak back in, hide the book, and pop into bed before my so much as moved a muscle. Great. Now I really was a thief. That's not. Hana, are you going to get up or not? That was not smart to steal another book from the Normal Boots club room, and Jared is going to need that book. I squinted into the early morning light. If you don't hurry up, you'll be late. How long did you work on that essay anyways? Essay? I blinked at her. Whoa, you really are out of it. You don't do well with no sleep, do you? Come on, get up. She flung my blankets off me. The cold air rushed in around my body, and I curled into a tighter ball. You have 15 minutes or I'm leaving without you. I sat up. Memories of the night before rushed back into my head. Mr. Saitama, the book, and the dent. I got ready for school, speeding through my routine and grabbing something from our mini fridge to tide me over until lunch. Ready to go? Yeah. By the time we made it to Poppy Hall, I felt much less groggy. My hypothesis about the boots came back to me, and without thinking, I mentioned it to Mai. Hey. No, Mai, the boots are made of solid gold. Oops. He turned to me in mild surprise. Yeah, so where's this coming from? I was just thinking, they'd probably be heavy, right? It would be too hard for someone to sneak them far from where they were taken. You think they're still in Poppy Hall? There's a gasp from behind us. Mai and I roll around. Waleed was standing less than a foot away, staring at us with wide eyes. Is something wrong? Huh? No, I didn't mean to startle you guys. I just fell asleep. What? You fell asleep? But you were walking. Yeah, I know. It happens all the time, actually. We just stared at him. He glanced around, as if looking for a way out. Well, it was nice running into you guys. Haven't seen you in a while. We should catch up sometime, but I've got to get to class. Bye. Bye. Waleed walked past, giving us a wide berth, hands in his pockets. That was really weird. Do you think he hurt us? I didn't think so. Back was stuck to my chair. My backpack. I think so. I was really suspicious regardless. I've never heard of Waleed falling asleep while walking. Me neither. We looked at each other, an idea forming in the space between us. It wouldn't hurt to check things out a bit, just to make sure, you know. Yeah. You can never be too careful. Just like that, we agreed we would wait until everyone was at lunch, then we'd do a little investigating. Lunchtime came. As everyone crept out of the classroom, Mai and I stayed behind, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Our hope was that it looked like some kind of protest. Normal Boots guys, and by extension the entirety of the class, were pretending we didn't exist. Most of our attempts at friendly interaction were completely ignored by the class. The Normal Boots guys got incredibly uncomfortable and just walked away. Well, most of them, Shane would just shoot us a dirty look, even if we even got close to him. Whether they brought it or not, the classroom quickly emptied out and Mai and I headed to the hallway. Do you even know which one is Walid's? Well, he's a first year, isn't he? It should be outside of his classroom. We'll be able to figure it out, and if not, let's just look in all of them. I balked, but Mai was totally serious. We reached the first floor landing and crept along the hallway. Thankfully, nobody was around. They were all engaged in a mad rush to get the good food before the cafeteria ran out. We crept around the corner and to classroom 1-3. It should be one of these. We walked down the hallway, hoping for some kind of sign. Then Mai stopped walking. Oh my gosh! She burst into laughter and pointed ahead of her. Confused, I followed her finger. One locker, in the middle of the left row, was completely covered in stickers. Curious, I stepped closer. Images of Walid's face, peppered with various words, are plastered across the locker. Meme Lord, Balrog the Butt, and other strange sayings were scrawled across each. What? You got to be kidding me! I don't really get it. Once upon a time, a few years ago, back before he even came to this school, Walid had a bit of a temper. Long story short, someone caught it on camera, uploaded to the internet. Oh. And the rest is history. As you can see, I stared at the different images of Walid's face. This takes dedication. Did he do it or did fans? I honestly couldn't tell you. Anyways, let's get to work. Do you mind standing guard? I stepped into the middle of the hallway, alert for any sound or movement from either end of the hall. I fiddled with the handle on the locker, sticking something inside the metal. In a few minutes, the door was open. When did you learn how to do that? I was a rich kid growing up. I had to learn a trick or two just to get out of my house. Your parents didn't let you out of the house while you were growing up? She made a face at me and opened the locker door. What in the name of... I leaned over to her shoulder to see what she was looking at. Mai's locker wasn't empty like mine and Mai's were, but there were no books inside. Instead, a litter of Barbie CD-ROM games were splayed across the top and bottom shelves. And there in the center, on the hook meant for a jacket or coat, was a fluffy pink and white suit. I reached out to touch it. It was soft, and there were silken petticoats underneath the shorts. My guess was the ensemble would hit Walid somewhere in the mid-thigh region, and the pants would fluff up like a bonnet. The shirt was sleeveless with gold-painted buttons and zippers trailing off. What is this for?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I've never heard of anything like... She shut the locker door. We've seen something we weren't meant to see. We can't mention this to a soul. Of course not. I don't really get what the big deal is, though. He brought it to his locker, so he must not be that shy about it. I shook her head. You'd be surprised what you can sneak to a locker without anyone seeing. The important thing is that he didn't have the boots, so he's perfectly innocent.
Well...
Let's just go eat lunch. She stalked off, completely unconcerned as to whether I followed her or ran to catch up. If Wally didn't want people to know, there was no reason we should mention it. It would be pretty hard to explain anyways. When we made it to the cafeteria, we were among the last to get our food. My eyes straight to Wally at the hidden block table. He was chatting happily, completely unconcerned with the odd suit he had in his locker. I felt blood rise to my cheeks, and then we locked eyes. I turned away and focused on getting my food. When I had the chance to sit down, I glanced over at the hidden block table and noticed Caddy, Ian, and Wally watching me. I grabbed Mai and dragged her out of the cafeteria. I was terrible at keeping secrets. It was better just to avoid the situation entirely. That night, I waited until long after Mai fell asleep to get up again. I changed back into my uniform in the darkness, then snuck out of our room. Wally hadn't taken the boots, but the look he, Ian, and Caddy gave me at lunch stayed in my mind. It was almost hostile. I didn't understand why. They had no reason to know we were snooping through their things. It seemed to me they were on the defensive, so it couldn't hurt to check. I ran across the grounds, this time avoiding the streetlights. I wasn't sure that would give me away with Mr. Saitama, but it couldn't hurt to be more careful. I made to Poppy Hall and wandered to where Wally's locker was. The club room should be around here somewhere. If I were a member of Hidden Block, what would I put inside the club room to indicate that that was where we met? It was hard. They all had such different, distinct personalities, but the loudest of personalities would probably have their way. Just then, I walked past the classroom and something pasted on the windows caught my eye. I tried the door. It was open! I stepped into the room and was immediately hit with the pungent smell of old chicken salad, macaroni, cheese, and chips. Good lord! I couldn't breathe. I struggled to one of the windows and slid it open, gasping into the fresh air. What the hell? Does no one take out the trash in here? I glanced around the room and immediately locked eyes with the face on the wall. Waleed? A giant version of Waleed's face was watching me from the wall next to the door. I shivered. I do not like it in here. Turning away, I caught a note on the blackboard. I'm not taking out the trash anymore. Please learn to do it yourselves. Jeff. Me neither. Love, Caddy. Just below were a bunch of scribbles that looked like an argument about who could and could not take care of themselves, with different colors of chalk scribbling out each other's sentences. That explained that. I shook my head and began searching the desks in the room. Most were empty, but... What the hell is a gun doing in here? Slaughter was written in sparkling silver Sharpie on the side. I'm going to die in here. I just am. Leaving the desk behind, I kept my way through cabinets at the back of the room. Old candy wrappers, several obscure alternative music CDs, a set of extremely expensive looking microphones, and headphones. An old notebook? I took it out and flipped through the first few pages. Inside were cartoons drawn in thick ink, Nokamon, a pink ball of fluff, anthropomorphized rocks.
Hey!
These aren't half bad. But nowhere did I see the boots, a reference to the boots. Sighing, I reached to put the book back in the cabinet, but not before scribbling a small image of my face on one of the pages. They wouldn't suspect me. Why would I out myself by drawing my own face? Hehe. All the sneaking around was getting to me. I was becoming a rebel, a bad seed. But there was nothing else I found that could possibly lead me to the boots. I closed the window and left the room, sighing with relief when I shut the door. The window might have been open, but that hadn't stopped the smell. How in the world did those boys live like that? No, knowing them, winning the fight was more important than being clean. It was a wonder they were all friends with how much they picked on each other. But then, that was probably the point. So their lockers must have been right around here too. I stood on my tiptoes, peeking into the slats on the fronts of the lockers. I couldn't open them without Mai's help, but I could at least see what they had in them. As I peered through them, I came up empty. Playmaster games, a hamster wheel, something called an Ian box, a Rulian shield. Their lockers were weird, but there was no sign of the boots. As I headed back to the door, my heart sank. It wasn't the Hidden Block Club. Really, that should make me happy. It should be good that they were true friends to the Normal Boots guys. But they were my only lead, really. I was back to the very beginning, no better off than I was before. Not true. You scratched off the Hidden Block guys, so you know they're not the culprits. That is progress. I climbed down to my room with heavy steps. It was already 1 in the morning. I had no idea how much time passed. I changed into my pajamas and stumbled into bed. Great, how worthless was I? I stared at the book in front of me. I was supposed to be reading, following along with what Miss Shizuka was teaching. Instead, I yawned. The words blurred together in front of me, talking about how a badger made of honey once befriended the 13th cat of the zodiac. Huh? I don't know what reference that is. I had an even harder time getting up this morning. I didn't think just a few days of less sleep would affect me so much, but they definitely did. I yawned again. Surely it would be a... I can't see it. Strange images swirled in front of me. The boots, the dent in the locker, Satch. Oh, Satch. I was looking at him in the library. It was back when I told him I was going to help him. He was in such a panic. But now that I was looking at it again, I remembered the librarian much more clearly. She was glaring at him so venomously I could feel the heat from where I stood. There's no way she would do anything wrong to him, right? Right? Something shoved into my back and I snapped awake. Feng Shui! Say Feng Shui! Feng Shui? Mishizuka was staring at me from in front of the class, put her hands on her lips. Yes, the answer is Feng Shui. And what is its purpose? If you place yellow objects at the front of your house, you get more money, and red in the back of the room, people will give you stuff. Shizuka squinted at me. Well, not incorrect. They are talking about the traditional effects of Feng Shui now, Ms. Mizuno, not the old country superstitions. Please pay better attention. Yes, ma'am. I sat back down and shot a grateful look at Mai. She nodded to me, face full of concern. I smiled at her and turned back around, hoping that would ease her mind. But as I looked at my book, I suddenly realized that I had no idea what the lesson was even about. My neck hurts a little. Hana! 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 What happened? I blinked at her. My eyes felt gooey and slow, like they were glued shut. Class is over. It's time for lunch.
What?
Already? But did I miss all morning? I nodded. I sat up and looked around the classroom. Only a few stragglers remained, jotting down final notes. I'm sure you've been really stressed about everything that's happened, but it's not good to fall asleep in class. I know that. It's not like I'm trying to fall asleep, but still, it was not good. Asagao Academy was a prestigious school. People only got in if they had high academics, lots of money, or were extremely talented in some way. I was none of those things. A scholarship student. I was the way that the school and the other students felt better about themselves. If I dragged down the school's image, they'd kick me out without a second thought. I wasn't even sure how I made it in the first place. It's not your fault that you're having trouble sleeping. Come on, let's go to lunch and not worry about it, yeah? I nodded and stood, feeling somewhat like I was not part of this world. The walls blurred as we headed out of the classroom. Maybe if I touched one, I'd fall right through. We opened the door and almost walked right into John and PBG. Whoa! Oh God!
Hey!
Hey, we were just coming to get you guys. Wait, you're talking to us? You're talking to us again? I glanced from the overly cheery John to PBG, who was avoiding eye contact with me. It had been 3 weeks since they last spoke to us. Maybe I was still asleep. As it was, my brain was moving too slow for me to say anything about it. So the thing is, we want to apologize.
What?
You do? We realized we were being total jerks. We feel terrible about it, or at least I do. Hey, it was an honest mistake. People make mistakes all the time. I stared at John's broad face, trying to click together what was happening. You ignored us for 3 weeks and you're saying it was an honest mistake? PBG elbowed John in the side and shot him a look.
No.
Ignore him. He sticks his foot in his mouth so much you'd think it was a lollipop. But we came to invite you to lunch with us again. If you'll still have us. We're going to make it up to you somehow, and we missed you. Both of you. So you're not suspicious anymore? Well... PBG elbowed him in the side again. Okay, sorry, I just thought it'd be funny. Too soon, John. No, we're not. We can't speak for the others, but you have our support. My head swam. The frustration of the past few weeks, the betrayal, the late nights, the tears, the whispers, the judgment, all built up inside of me. Did they want us to just Forgive them and let it all go? I looked at me, waiting for my decision. It seemed she didn't know what to make of it either. I'm sorry, guys, but that was mean. That was really mean. No thanks. I smiled and shook my head, trying to let them down as politely as possible. This was way too sudden. I couldn't just get over everything that happened immediately. Maybe that made me a bad person. Maybe that meant I held grudges. But I couldn't just forget what happened, even though part of me wanted to be friends with them again. Even though part of me missed them. I understand. But the invitation still stands if you change your mind. I nodded, then turned and left. I hoped a short walk would help me clear my mind and get rid of the sleepy haze that settled over me. Well, I felt awake at least. Hana? I fell into step beside me, watching me carefully. Yeah? What's wrong? What was I supposed to say? They were really cruel to us, Mai, for 3 straight weeks. They didn't act like we were friends at all. I know that people make mistakes, but actions speak louder than words do. Sometimes people mess up so badly you have to cut them out of your life. You're better off without them. Memory formed at the edge of my mind, and I angrily pushed it away. Friends forgive each other's mistakes. Who says we're still friends? That's not what I wanted to say. That's not what I meant. I just meant that you can't just forgiveness doesn't happen in a few seconds. Not when it's been 3 weeks. Come sit. I want to tell you something. She gestured to a bench on the side of the walk. Together we sat. For a while I stared at the wind moving across the branches of the trees before us. As the branches moved, light appeared and disappeared. To me at least, it seemed to be coming and going, but on the other side of the branches it was constant. I was trying to figure out what symbolic meaning that had for me when Mai sighed again. The Normal Boots has been through a lot. You're not the first person they tried to invite to their club. They have a lot of trouble with...
Wow.
People want to take advantage of them. A surge of guilt flooded me. But I wasn't... I know you weren't, but they don't know that. It's really hard for them to make friends. Even when someone doesn't want to use them, they can be blinded by their popularity or, let's face it, crazy good looks. Genuine relationships aren't formed that way, and they've all been badly burned at least once. So if they reacted harsher than most people would, I'm sure it wasn't personal. Not really. They were probably trying to protect themselves. I wanted to respond, but I couldn't seem to find the words. Instead, I found myself returning to the first few days I came to Asagao. Why had I wanted to befriend the Normal Boots Club in the first place? Why was I so desperate to join? I had nothing more than a passing interest in video games at the time. But... You know Jared? Did I know him? I only talked to them on the train for a few minutes. Not really. We weren't friends or anything. But looking around, mine and this girl weren't the only ones who were interested. Everybody was listening in. They were so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white light wouldn't hurt. I felt sick to my stomach. They hadn't treated me well, but to be honest, I hadn't treated them well either. Even if they weren't aware. My motives were less than pure. Throughout my time with the Normal Boots Club, I got to know them, and I started liking them as genuine people, as friends. But at the beginning, it was less friendship and more... You're right, I've been a jerk. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would. I'm no better than they are. I'm not sure I follow. I stood up. Come on. We have somewhere to be. By the time we reached the Normal Boots table, lunch was nearly over. I stood over the table, breathing deep.
Yeah!
Hana, did you come to eat with us? No, I came to apologize. You?
Seriously?
I wasn't thinking about it from your perspective. Of course you'd be suspicious of me. You haven't known me for that long, and people can do awful things to each other. I'm sorry I was so angry about it.
Anna.
No, we're sorry. We've grown suspicious over time, and you did not deserve that. Yeah.
All right.
What's most important is that the group is back together again. And we're happy to have you, Hana. Shane grunted. I glanced at him and he looked away. Well, most of us are. Time for class.
See you later.
But we'll see you tomorrow, right, Hana?
Yeah.
Right, you will. And like that, it was set right. Well, most of it was. I still had to prove myself to a few people. After the excitement of the day, it didn't take long for Mai to fall asleep. I lay and listened to her steady breathing, resisting the urge to fall asleep myself. Finally, her gentle snoring began, and I put on some clothes and headed back outside. Am I gonna go thieving again? At this point, I was getting used to creeping around at night. It was horrifying the first time, and I had a few close calls, but I didn't think there was just going to be someone jumping out from the corners and trying to kill me. The world wasn't as hostile as I thought it was, at least Asagao wasn't. I dashed across the campus and into Poppy Hall. Only once I was inside did I realize I didn't really have a plan. There was nothing in the hidden block lockers, and the club room was empty when I last looked. I crept up to the 4th floor, hoping to begin an in-depth search from room to room. One had to have it nearby. They were too heavy to move during the day, and it would have taken at least 2 normal people to move them. With this in mind, I worked my way from classroom to classroom, closet to desk, searching in lockers and nooks and crannies. Try after try, I found nothing of interest, at least to the boots. There's an oddly large amount of stuffed animals in these kids' desks. As I searched the desk on the 4th floor, I sighed. The last desk. Still nothing. Slipping down to the 3rd floor, I braced myself to begin again, until I heard a noise from a closet at the end of the hall. It was coming from an old, unused closet just opposite the stairwell. Yellow light ringed the edges of the door. Someone was in there. They weren't there on my way up. There was no way it was a janitor either. The janitor threw up the lights on the entire floor when he was cleaning. No, this was someone else. I edged across the hall, taking care not to let my steps echo on the wooden floor, as they were prone to do when no one else was in the hallway. Finally, I made it to the edge of the door. Taking a deep breath, I grasped the cold handle. Then all at once I turned and pushed the door open. Jared stood before me, a collection of books at his feet and on the shelf above him. His arms there was an open version of the 5th edition of the Dungeons and Dragons. I glanced at the books on the floor, 3rd edition, 3.5, 4th edition, Battletech, and a myriad of what looked like new locations and expansions lay in order of edition and release date. They sparkled in the light, mint condition despite how old they were. Jared and I locked eyes. We didn't say anything, we didn't move a muscle. Time was suspended. I couldn't take it. Indecent! I screamed and ran, sprinting for the staircase door. Hana, wait! Jared was following. I pushed through the stair door and down through the 1st floor, bursting through, but Jared was catching fast. Damn you, good genes! The front door was too far away, I'd never make it. Instead, I dove into a first-year classroom, hoping he hadn't seen me, but... Hana. No! Stay away from me! I ran to the back of the room. There was nowhere for me to go. I slowly approached, eyes gleaming. You saw nothing. I wish. He was finally in front of me. I said you saw nothing. Hi. He had slammed his hands against the wall at either side of me. I was trapped, pinned to a wall. Oh. Damn, Hana, now it's not the time for that.
No.
Hana, please. Suddenly I was thankful for the dark because I was definitely the one being indecent right then. Don't tell anybody what you just saw, please. I wasn't sure which was more visceral to me, my fear or Jared's presence. Finally I caved, just to get him out of my face. Okay, I won't tell anyone, I promise.
Alright.
Hana! He set me up in a hug. Suddenly I really was pinned between the wall and against Jared. I flushed a deep red, not sure where to put my arms. Thank you so much. I was going to die here. The blood would leave my body, go to my face, and wouldn't be able to breathe. I wouldn't be able to breathe anymore. Goodbye, world. It was nice knowing you. What was that? He released me and said, tugging me to the floor. We crouched there for a few moments, waiting. The sound of footsteps rang across the hall, along with what sounded like a muffled curse, and silence. We should leave. We really shouldn't be in here. Jared looked at me, as if just realizing I was also sneaking around the academy in the dead of night. I won't tell you if you don't ask. Good enough for me? Quietly, we still crouched. We crept out of the first floor classroom and into the main hallway. Sweet Jesus! Look at that! Now we knew what made that noise. A large crack set in the middle of the floor, all splintered and dented wood. Somebody dropped something really heavy. You don't think? The boots? We looked at each other. Immediately, we dashed outside Poppy Hall, scanning the nearby area. Damn it! You've got to be kidding me! They were right outside the wall, Jarrett! They were right there and we missed him! Missed them! We should have left when we had the chance. Stupid! Stupid! I'm sorry. I was the one who stopped us. Yeah, you were. A sly smirk crossed his face. At least now I know what you were doing in here. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you don't mind, it's late and I should be getting to sleep. Swiftly, I began to walk back to Primrose's house.
Hana?
Hey, Hana. I whipped around. Shh, and what? I'm sorry I suspected you. Taken aback, I didn't know how to respond. Oh. Well, I'm sorry I was rough about it. I really didn't know what else to say. Jared waved a hand at me in the careless way he had.
Bye.
Don't even worry about it. Good night, Hana. I nodded, and this time when I left, I wasn't stopped again. At least not until I made it back to the dorm. Something seemed off. Quietly, I slid the key into the lock and I turned it. The click that usually sounded so quiet now sounded like the clang of a clock tower. Nervously, I opened the door. Shit.
What the hell?
I knew you were up to something. No, I was just in the bathroom. And you put on your clothes for that? I looked down at my uniform. I'm bathroom shy.
Really?
And you were gone for 3 hours? I really needed to poop. Fine, you got me. Now let me in. So what happened? I wasn't sure what to tell her. I hadn't prepared anything in advance. In an effort to make it all seem casual, I said the first thing that came to mind.
Well.
I forgot a book and went to get it, but I ran into Jared on the way.
Oh, Jared.
Jared? Oh, shit, it had to be Jared, didn't it? Okay, you can hold out on me. Tell me what happened. I need all the details. You're my best friend, aren't you? Oof, low blow. No, what? No, not again! Damn it! Break the promise or keep it. Damn it, no. I made the promise again. Come on. I'm gonna keep it again. Sorry, Mai. A promise is a promise. I don't know. Look at... I don't know. I'm having second thoughts. I don't know what to do. Break the promise or keep it. She can keep quiet, right? We kept quiet about a lot of things. I don't know. It's not like Hana has a relationship with Jared this time around. I don't know. I should... I think I should break it this time. Okay. I looked nervously at her shining face. Promise not to tell anyone?
Uh-huh.
Of course, I promise. I sat next to her and cupped my hands to whisper into her ear. Jared plays D&D. I I stepped back, waiting for a reaction, but mine was wide-eyed and frozen. Did I do something wrong? Was D&D really something so bad to play? Maybe I made a mistake in telling. That's so cool! I jumped and clasped my hand over Mai's mouth. All up and down the hall, girls screamed, and thumbs and bangs echoed from their urgency to wake. Damn it, Mai! As the girls squabbled, I hurriedly changed into my pajamas. I pretended to be blurry-eyed as I peeked out the door. What is going on? I have
Self-voicing enabled. I have registered an abnormality coming from this location.
What? No, I think you must be mistaken.
Mistaken? Kakuso. Kakuso cannot be mistaken.
As other girls poked their heads out of their rooms, I grabbed Kakusu's arm. Look, nothing happened, right? I winked at her.
I register your wink as a sign of secrecy. All is well here.
What's going on? Mai saw a mouse.
Mimi. She speaks truthfully. I smiled.
I smiled. After looking carefully from me to Kakusu, to my room, past the open door, Mimi sighed. I hate this place. Also, clean your room up. It's a mess. She turned on her heel and went back into her room. Seeing that, the rest of the girls followed suit. Thanks, Kakusu.
Kakusu has her secrets to keep, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Kakusu nodded, then jerkily.
Self-voicing disabled.
Kakusu nodded, then jerkily walked to her room across the hall. Was it supposed to be a secret or something? Shaking my head, I went back inside.
What a jerk.
Like, Mimi can talk. Her room's a mess. I'm just glad she didn't put two and two together. Don't scream like that next time. Next time? You know what I mean. Mai pulled me into a warm hug. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, no problem. Now off to bed with you. You're gonna be so tired when you wake up. You're telling me. It was a hell of a night, but at least now I had a new suspect in mind. Maybe the entirety of Hidden Block hadn't planned anything, but the boots and the books had going missing, and now there was proof that the boots were stolen by somebody. There was only one person who had reason to throw Satch off his game. His opponent in the tournament, Jimmy. Uh-huh. The next morning was awful. I almost didn't get out of bed. It took Mai shaking me awake 5 minutes before we were about to leave for me to even wake up. As soon as I saw what time it was, my heart flew to my throat. I never got it ready so fast. A spike of adrenaline immediately after waking led me feeling lightheaded and oddly not in my body. I tried to let the cool morning air wake me, but the world just looked strange in the sunlight. It was like I was trapped in a computer program, and the sunlight was painted on. It simply did not belong. Do you have, like, the virtual reality helmet on or something? When we made it to Poppy, I was relieved. All I wanted was to collapse in my seat and maybe to catch a few quick minutes of sleep. But I doubted I'd be able to after such a rough awakening. Anna! Before I could even get to the classroom door, a panicked voice stopped before me. A worried Satch stood in front of me. In fact, this was the most worried I'd ever seen him. He was wringing his hands and searching my face, and apparently he did not like what he found. Jared told me.
What?
What? He raised his eyebrows meaningfully, and it took a second for my brain to catch up with what he was implying. Damn it, that jerk! He said he wasn't going to tell! At least now I didn't feel so bad about telling Mai. It's not important. I know what you're doing and I don't like it. I want you to stop. You can tell me what to do. Whoa. And why not? I told you I have this under control. You're just going to get yourself in trouble. You're in enough trouble as it is. He stopped, and his annoyance turned to concern. He reached out and brushed my face. How many nights have you been doing this? It isn't healthy. I pushed his hand away.
No.
I don't care. I had to do something. This isn't good. Satch deflated a little and gathered himself up again. That's besides the point. I told you I'm going to clear your name. You should be taking better care of yourself. Nobody even suspects you anymore. Not really. Not after what you did for Jared. It's about time. It only took them...
What?
Wait. You think I'm doing this... Think I'm doing this for me? Wait.
What? What?
I searched his face. He looked back at me in confusion. Yes? A surge of anger bubbled in my stomach. You've got to be kidding me! It's not about being suspected. I've been suspected for 3 weeks. I can stand a few more. Then why are you doing this? We were all out yelling, for us anyways, in the middle of the hall. Class was just starting in a few minutes, and the swarms of students walking by stopped to watch it. You are so stupid! It's because of you! You're working so damn hard all the time, and you take on all this extra work, and you never tell anybody! You couldn't just sit around and watch it happen. You've been so stressed, but you're still trying to help out me and Mai. It's totally stupid. Tears stung my eyes, but my attempt to stop crying didn't work. It wasn't like me to get so worked up, but... Alright, no sleep. Seth stared at me speechless. I shook my head. You only rely on yourself, and you never tell anybody what's wrong. You just help other people. Well, you need someone to rely on too. I don't want you to work alone anymore. I just don't. I stopped, unable to say more, wiping my face. Blame it on exhaustion, but I didn't even care what people were watching. I just wanted Satch to understand. Students, clearly uncomfortable, started filtering into the classroom. Satch gestured a few times, clearly about to begin speaking, but each time he thought the better of it. Finally he swallowed. We can work together. We can? Satch nodded, seemingly unaware of the action. Sure. The school bell rang. The class was starting. I beamed at Satch. He still stood in front of me as if in a stupor. Satch? No response. I stepped behind him and gave him a shove towards the staircase. Hey. Go, you're gonna be late for class. Oh, right.
Alright, be good.
I'll see you later, Hana. You better. I stepped into the classroom. As I went to close the door behind me, I heard Satch quietly whisper, "Thanks." If you don't mind taking your seat, Miss Mizuno. Class is waiting. Yes, ma'am. I dashed to my seat, waiting for Shizuka to lay some kind of punishment on me. Instead, a small smile tugged at the corner of her lips. Now then, shall we discuss the benefits of motion controls in modern video games? The class groaned, and like that, it was over. And like that, it was over. Well, that reminds me of Battle Block Theater, the intro. And like that, it was over.
Yo, what's up?
So, what's that about? No, just a small victory. Satch and Hana sitting in the tree. Mai! I forgave you once, Miss Mizuno. Don't think I'll do it again. Yes, ma'am. I sank a little in my chair and pulled out my book. There was no way I would fall asleep this time. I sprinted to the library. Satch was sure to be working, and he had to know what I discovered about the books. He would probably have an answer. I flung open the door to the library. Several heads shot up in my direction. The librarian was nowhere to be seen. I ran to the front desk and slammed my hands on it.
Hey!
Satch! Satch had peeped from the staff room. Seeing me, he grinned and came out.
Hana.
Hana? To what do I owe the pleasure? I think I figured out something about the boots. He glanced around and then waved me back behind the counter and into the staff room. I closed the door and glanced through the class. Then he motioned for me to speak. I began to tell him exactly what happened last night. When I mentioned running into Jared, he held up his hand. What exactly did you see? I shifted nervously.
Well,
It happened really fast, so I didn't see much. I was really freaked out, and so was he. I just bolted immediately, so I don't know why he was in there. Satch gazed into my eyes, and I swallowed heavily. I wasn't going to out Jared, not even to one of his friends. Something told me Satch knew I was lying. Finally he sighed. Continue. I finished my story describing the den we saw on the ground and my belief that someone moved the boots out of the hall. So whoever took them might be planning on selling them or on keeping them out of your hands for some reason. Interesting. The boots are worth a lot of money, so it would make sense for somebody to sell them. Except that almost every student here is loaded, the main exception being you. Regardless, this is great information to know. I'd really rather you didn't risk yourself going out at night. School is important, and you worked so hard to get here. I don't want to know that what they'd do if they found you. And there are other dangers as well. You're lucky you only ran into Jared. Lucky? I was scared for my life. Exactly. But I don't want to keep you long. I know you have work, and you can't get in any trouble either. I chuckled. Satch, however, was staring out the glass window. On a duck. Where? He put a hand on my shoulder and gently pressed me downwards. I squatted down on the floor as his eyes slid across the glass. What's going on? Shh, 1 second. My knees hurt. Come here quickly and look. I stood and moved into the corner with Satch. From where we were standing, we could just see into the far side of the library. There, holding a giant stack of books, was Mai. So, what's wrong with that? Watch her. She glanced around herself, then slinked up against the bookcase, vanishing from view. A few seconds later, she appeared further down the library. Again, she looked around her, and made a mad dash for the door. And she was gone. What was that about? I tried to laugh it off, but it came out more like a wheeze, terribly unconvincing. Satch took off his glasses and polished them against his white cotton shirt. I did not like where this was going. It would not be pretty. This isn't the first time I've seen her do this. Well, so? You don't know what she was doing. Maybe those were her books. Maybe she wasn't getting them for... Maybe she was getting them for a teacher. He stared me in the eyes. Do you really think that's the case? She has kleptomania. I can trust that she didn't steal the boots, but those books. I immediately noticed how she reacted when we talked about those lost books. I'm gonna doubt her. I can't really say. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, but Mai's confession blowed through my head. I'm a kleptomaniac. I really don't know. I'm sorry, it was rude of me to imply. We don't have any proof. No decisions can be made until then. He sighed heavily, rolling his shoulders. Thank you for letting me know about this. You're pretty reliable, you know? No, I'm not. I'm really not. He glanced away and heard a door open. Satch was waiting for me to leave. Right, I'll just go.
See you later.
See you later. Come by again soon, Hana. He winked. I blushed and skated out of the library, relief flooding over me. As I reached the hall, I stopped. Mai really put Satch in danger like that? After all he did for us? I really didn't know what to think. I don't think Mai is really thinking about that. Yeah. I was walking back to the dorm a few days later, enjoying the late spring sunlight on my face, when I heard someone call out my name.
Hana.
Anna, there you are. Satch? He reached me and bent over, panting slightly. Wait, when did you catch me? You walk surprisingly fast. I waited a bit for him to catch his breath. He glanced around us surreptitiously. Mai isn't with you? That's strange. She's at volleyball practice. She's part of the team, you know? Well, that's convenient. She's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I really didn't like the way he said that. Remember how we saw her sneaking through the library the other day? Yes. Another chunk of books are missing from the library. In other words, she didn't check out those books. Okay. He looked at me expectantly. I don't think I like what you're implying. Can you blame me? What else am I supposed to think?
I don't know.
I don't know. Better if your friend, maybe? Better if your friend, maybe. Oof. You know Mai, you know she wouldn't do something like this. Do I? People can surprise you, Hana. You shouldn't trust people so easily. He said it so bitterly that I was caught off guard. Without anything to say, we stood in a tense silence. And he sighed. It makes sense, that's all I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt to just ask her, would it? Well, yes, it would. It would be betraying her trust on an issue she was already really sensitive about. But Satch didn't know she had kleptomania. He probably thought it would be as simple as a stick of cotton candy. I'll see what I can do.
Right on.
Thanks, Hana. But I've got to go work now, so I'll see you later. Yeah, bye. I watched as he hustled off in the direction of the library, feeling nauseous. I really didn't want to think Mai was the one who was stealing everything. Not after she so sincerely told me she hadn't taken the boots. Did I have to confront her? Well, I did share a room with her. It wouldn't be hard to do a little bit of snooping, now would it? That night I rose from bed like a vampire. My snores like an ambient noise. I crept to her desk. Ignoring the guilt in my stomach, I used my cell phone as a flashlight. I didn't see anything incriminating. No library books, just her regular school books. Pulled open her drawers, not daring to do more than stare at whatever was on top of the pile. Mine was incredibly messy. Tons of random stuff thrown left and right. There was no room for books in any of her drawers, as far as I could tell. She got off scot-free. But that didn't make any sense. I saw Mai taking books out of the library, so shouldn't they at least be somewhere? Where else might she have put them? I sighed and put on some slippers. Time for another secret outing. I made it to the classroom without incident, heading over to Mai's desk and sliding my hands through it. Money? 5,000 yen? I'll just put that back where I found it. Really, 5,000 yen just sitting in their desk. That's like $50, I think, right? Regardless, there were no books. There was only one last place to look. Mai's locker is directly next to mine, and I remember what she said about lockers. You'd be surprised how easily it is to get something in your locker without anyone noticing. Mai's locker was directly next to mine, so I stepped on my tiptoes and peeked through the slats. It was her full-length poster of Jared, a hairbrush, her volleyball team jacket dangling from her coat hook, and there, at the bottom of her locker, was a pile of books. My heart sped up, and I tried angling my phone's flashlight to get a better look, see if I could read the titles, but no matter how hard I tried, the light wouldn't reach. I put my cell phone back in my pocket and sped out of Poppy Hall. I emerged into the night, the wind chilled my skin. But despite that, I felt hot, alert, awake. I didn't want to go back to the dorms, not after what I found, so instead I turned and headed for the field. It was a long walk, especially in the dark. Halfway I found myself regretting such a stupid decision, especially with the trees and shrubs shrouding the trails and making me feel like someone was watching me. But I let my adrenaline lead me, and in no time I was at the field. The field at night was peaceful. Was a peaceful, almost spiritual place. As I walked to the great oak tree, I felt like there were others there with me, watching over me. Maybe fairies, or elves, or... Satch.
Huh.
I knew it. I glanced around me nervously, unsure of where to go or what to do. I couldn't sleep? Apparently not. You've been having a hard time sleeping for a while, haven't you? Do you usually break curfew and go sneaking around the grounds when you can't sleep? I didn't know what to do. Satch seemed angry, and I didn't like being out there alone in an empty field at night with an angry Satch. Anger had always scared me, even more so after my time at my old school. I hated being angry, and I hated seeing other people angry. I didn't know what to do. Hana. Satch sighed. You know, we're partners now, so you don't really have to do this all by yourself. Can't you at least tell me when you're going to do something like this? I don't want you to put yourself in danger. I'll go with you, so don't go alone. I'll protect you. Were you worried about me? I grinned at him and he rubbed his temples. I swear, you're going to be the death of me.
Seriously?
You were! Look. Without thinking, I hugged him. Satch's arms fell limply to his sides. Thank you, Satch. After a few seconds, his arms wrapped around me too. I just don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to suffer because of me. I buried my head into his chest, chuckling. Silly, that's exactly what I was thinking about you. After all this with the boots and now the books. Satch laughed and I felt his chest shake with each exhale. Of course we would. We stood like that for a while. After some time, Satch nudged me slightly. Anna, look. I stepped away from him and gasped. Fireflies. Fireflies lit the air around us, flowing through the tree limbs, dotting the night sky as if they were stars. They're beautiful. Satch nodded, pulling me closer towards him. Satch walked me back to Primrose House, guarding me like a knight. I thought about telling him about the books, but decided not to. I had no proof. There was no reason to make him even more suspicious of Mai. They were just books. They could be anything. Good night, Satch. Good night, Hana.
Class?
I'm handing back the results of last week's test. How many points do I have? 15. Okay. I need 5 more, at least. Most of you did very well. A few of you rather unexpectedly slid severely down the ladder. Not that you were all taking your studies seriously, because if you aren't, we aren't going to get the end of the year class trip to Osaka. How am I supposed to find a boyfriend if that happens? She handed the papers back through the class, huffing disdainfully as she passed PBG. Hana, I really hope this is a one-time incident. She handed me back my exam. 64%. That the circle red number. My mind blank with shock. How is that possible? My whistled behind me. Damn, Hana, not doing good there, are you? I've never gotten lower than a B in my life. You're shaking? Oh, calm down there, girl. It was one exam. Ain't nothing you need to worry about. We'll get some ice cream later on, and everything will be fine. I'm dumb. You haven't been paying attention in class. How do you expect to pass the test when you don't even know what's on it? You're not like Kakusu. You can't ambitiously soak in knowledge while you're sleeping. That's not fair. She gets dictionaries literally uploaded to her database while she's powered off.
Self-voicing enabled. What? No, I just like to read them before falling asleep, like any other normal human or carbon-based life form.
Huh.
Self-voicing disabled.
Anyways, let's get lunch. I'll treat you to ice cream and things will totally look better after this. Come on. Mai and I arrived at the lunch table, me nursing a double scoop of vanilla ice cream. Just as we settled in, Gerard stood and held up his test for the table to see.
Aw, yeah.
I did not fail you, boys! And ladies.
Boom, baby.
Another flat 100! Sold and sealed! What's that? 70 tests in a row? Would you ever get tired? Does passion ever die? Will flames cease to burn if there's ever fuel? So long as I am trapped within the confines of schooling and there are tests to finish, I will complete them. A smattering of polite applause met his speech. Well, it wasn't like it was particularly hard. Wasn't a particularly hard test this time around. It's good that Asagao basically only puts efforts in the midterms and finals. Way easier to coast. Although, if I become president, I solemnly vow to change that. Why would you do that? Did you get another terrible score, PBG? No. Yes. There's no helping you.
Well,
I've offered to tutor you before, you know? You never accepted. I have way better things to do than school. This will hardly matter once I graduate anyways. Education is important. You should strive to learn whether you're in school or not. I will. I'll just learn practical skills that I can apply to a future career, like video editing or voice acting. What kind of career are you planning to have? Professional soccer player? Huh, you got a 60-something, didn't you? I guess even the good ones have to fill at some point. My! I flushed and looked at my hands. A whole 60? You still did better than me. That's hardly a relief. Is that because you fall asleep in class? I felt Satch's gaze hot on my face and avoided eye contact with him at all costs. Still, his disapproval lay over me like a sauce on spaghetti. You both are welcome to ask for my help if you ever need it. Yes, Satch.
Yeah.
We'd love for you to tutor us if you could. Yeah, tonight even. We love learning.
right on.
That works out perfectly for me. Tonight at 7. I'll see you in my room. Right on time, sir. Angry Satch was scary. I showed up at Satch's room at 7 o'clock right on time. PBG was nowhere in sight. I knocked lightly on the door. It swung open immediately.
Hana.
Hana, good to see you. Please come in. I'm sorry to say that PBG won't be joining us. He had other commitments. Jared's out too. Not sure what he's up to, though. Maybe practicing for his fashion show? Oh. I shuffled into his room, taking my shoes off by the door. I guess it's just us then. Yeah, I guess so. What was this tension? Anyway, we've got lots to cover, so let's get started. He pulled out Jared's desk chair and set it next to his own, patting the seat. After you. Thank you. I sat on the chair and pulled out my notebooks and pencils, once arranged nicely and ready to take notes. I turned attentively to Satch. He cleared his throat. What was the war fought for independence of America called? We're starting already? I didn't know anything about American history. Screw the Brits! Screw the Brits. The War for Independence, the American Revolutionary War. I think that's it. Standard answer. Good job. In an MMORPG, what is the role of the DPS? DPS? I heard that phrase used in class, but it was never explained to me. Dreadbeard Pirate Skin. Damage per second. That makes sense. A textbook answer. Good job. Okay, last question. If someone asks whether you are a Russian serum, your response should be... Russian serum, was that Korean? No, I'm not a prostitute. Yes, I'm Russian, but I'm not a prostitute. That'll cost you. You're Russian? Sounds like you could use some relaxation. Correct. The questioning went on like this for a while. His questions were hard, but they seemed to be about foundational things I was never taught at my public school, but was already expected to know here at Asagao. It explained why Miss Shizuka's lectures were sometimes hard to follow. I needed this foundational knowledge. At the end of things, even though I was tired, core concepts were starting to line up in my mind. Okay, let's take a break. A break, thank goodness! My head hurt. I rubbed my temples, trying not to let my stress creep up on me. If you're ready, it's time to get the actual lesson. Actual lesson?! What's that? Just a warm-up, yep. As I gaped at him, he bent down and picked something up from a compartment near his desk. It was a little red baggie, and he unwrapped it to reveal a strawberry cheesecake popsicle? Oh my god. Ben & Jerry strawberry cheesecake is like my favorite flavor. Now, if you can get these right, you get to have a snack. I gave it him, my mouth watering. I love those. You can have it if you get these right. We studied for a while, Satch quizzing me on various subjects, but explained to me the fall of Tokugawa shogunate in 3 sentences or less. That was something they hadn't even taught us yet. Well, no, that's not quite. Okay, what's the third law of thermodynamics, and what famous short story it is present in? What in the hell? Satch chuckled. Entropy? No. No. Okay, what is the chemical composition of granite? Satch, these questions are way harder than anything we've ever learned. Of course they are. You don't study above your level. How will it ever get easier for you? That's not fair! Satch laughed, and it only made me even angrier. What? Stop laughing! I'm really frustrated! No, that's what I'm laughing at. It's really cute. He handed the popsicle to me.
Right on.
Here, you've been working hard, so you deserve it. You just gave it to me because I was cute, didn't you? What? No, no. You definitely deserve it for your hard work. You're a terrible liar. I try not to. He bent down to that desk compartment and pulled out another frozen treat, a vanilla cone covered with chocolates and nuts. I'll eat with you. He got out of his desk and stretched, and I did the same. Instead, we moved to the couch, which I collapsed into with a small sigh. So, Satch, how's your VR machine going? Oh, that. It's going okay. I wish I had more time to work on it. I feel like I'm so close to some kind of major breakthrough. But what the things I've been distracted. Things, do you mean me and my searching the grounds, the books? How hard his job had gotten, helping me study? As I went over the possible causes, I realized just how much Satch had to do with because of me, and how much he was helping me. And I thought I was supposed to be helping him. Hey, don't make that face. It's not your fault. So, why are you making it? Is it your dream? Well, I guess because I was curious. I had some ideas I wanted to try out. It's related to my dream. I want to be able to make a living being creative. I'd like to explore how creativity works, the construction of ideas and mechanics, and how they all work together with the human brain to create something new. Oh.
Yeah.
But for right now, yes, finishing this machine is my dream. What's yours then? I bit my lip. It wasn't something I liked to talk about, but for some reason, I wanted to tell Satch. It was because I felt he was sincerely interested, or because he wouldn't judge me. But I could trust him, definitely. I was bullied a lot out of my old school, by my former best friend and my friends. They would do horrible things, and eventually they did something so bad I crossed the line. I put my hand to my hair, somewhat self-conscious. I fingered the bow my father had given me. I left home to come to Asagao rather than to go to Amaririsu again. My dad is working himself to the bone just to let me stay here, because my mom's no longer with us. For a long time my dream was just to have friends. It sounded so sad, pathetic almost.
Hey.
You know, that dream has already come true. You have friends. I gave him a look. I'm serious, look around you. The Normal Boots Club, even if they've been mixed up, are your friends. And even if you can count on them, you've got me and mine now. We're your friends. We've got your back. Looks like you'll have to find something else to dream about now. I stared at him, and suddenly... Why are you crying? Did I say something wrong? No, I'm just... You're right, and... I'm happy. A slow smile spread across Satch's face, and he put an arm around me, lowering my head into his shoulder and cried. just cried. You guys are my friends. How did I get so lucky? It's because of who you are as a person, Hana. It wasn't by random chance. That's not how people work. If you think we're something special, you must be too. Hmm? Ah! Satch patted the top of my head. There, Hana. You're okay. You're all right now. And that is chapter 4. Okay. God damn it, I want to save here. Okay, that was it for today. I need to get some stuff done this afternoon. So, thank you guys all so much for watching, and have a good one.